Hello, everyone. This is Michael Campbell. I am the CEO and founder of the Street Smarts. And starting next week, we will be having a series of webinar um, broadcasts, and we will be starting off by talking about ETFs. So I'd like to bring on Jairo Garcia, who is he's one of my very new board members. Hi, Ro. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Michael. Thanks for having me.
All right. So, Hyro, can you tell the folks a little bit about yourself and um, why ETFs? Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for the introduction. I joined Michael's board just about a year or so ago, right before I was a student at SF State, where I got to meet Michael for the first time, and he introduced me to different people around the Bay Area in the world in finance, and opened my world up to the opportunities that are out there. Now, I'm working at BlackRock, and I work specifically with our bond ETFs. So we're super excited about bond ETFs. We think they're a growing industry, and BlackRock actually thinks that we're going to be seeing the growth of bond ETFs right now to go up to 2 trillion
My
in AUM.
goodness.
So that having said that, next week we'll be having a very own board member, Anand Desai, who works at Pensera, who's a portfolio manager and oversees ETFs, and one of my colleagues, Brennan Leong, who is an associate on my team, where he also represents our bond ETFs, and
All
from
right.
a strategic standpoint. So
So, Hyro, tell me, what exactly is an ETF?
yeah, an ETF is an exchange traded product. It is a wrapper for which an individual can get exposure to an index. Well, traditionally, ETFs were started as like investing in or like passively investing in an index. When we think of like indices, we think of some of the bigger indices like S&P 500. So, ETF, exchange traded fund, you can invest in this on an exchange. So you can open your Fidelity, your Robinhood account, and buy a share of IVV or BlackRock's S&P 500 ETF, and now you are inherently own 500 shares or 500 of the top companies in the US.
So,
So in a
Hyro,
nutshell, yeah.
do you guys just have one ETF, or you produce a number of them?
At least at BlackRock, we have hundreds of ETFs, and specifically in fixed income, we have a little over 100, or like close to 120 different bond ETFs that you can get access to. You can just like buy them, and essentially each ETF provides a different exposure within the fixed income universe. So you get exposure to you can get exposure to U.S. Treasuries with different duration cuts or maturity cuts. You can get exposure to corporates, to U.S. corporates. You can exposure to the high yield sector, to emerging market debt, to mortgages. So to you name it, we have exposure to all types of fixed income asset classes here at BlackRock through our iShares ETFs.
So, let me ask you, how big of a market are ETFs? Are there a lot of companies that are getting into it? And what does it take to be someone like you, for our students out there that want to get into ETFs and probably want to get into BlackRock too? But you know, the first one is how big of a market is, and then again, how would you get into the into a career path for that?
Yeah. I don't have the exact numbers for how big the actual market for ETFs are. I know that there's a number of issuers that are every day increasing and every day coming up with new and innovative strategies to implement into ETFs. So right now you can get a wide range of different portfolio or access to different ETFs that give you like a very unique ways to get access to the markets. So right now is like a really opportune time to, if you are an everyday investor, that you can like diversify your risk at a very low cost. Where maybe years ago it'd be you would have to pay a substantial fee through mutual funds to get access to portfolios, and now you can get access to even like actively managed funds through like actively launched ETFs. And yeah, so I guess like on the second part of the question,
Just how
you
do you get involved? I mean, how do you break into the industry? Because it seems like it's pretty um, specialized. So how did you? Can you? I'm just curious. How did you get in?
yeah,
I'm proud of
I
you, by the way. But how did you get in?
I got in through the likes of meeting people like Michael, who kind of opened the door to me learning about the finance industry. So I, through connections, through meeting people, through different webinar series similar to the ones that Michael's will be hosting, I got to like learn a little bit of what a career within the finance industry actually looks like, and then from there talking networking with individuals that actually work at the places that you might would like possibly want to work at, to gain some insight of what it's like, and then from there applying and interviewing and going from there. So
So,
yeah.
Jairo, can you like give us some logistics as to when because you're going to be leading the panel. Can you give us some logistics as to when it is? And we will be putting out a link to the webinar. We should have it pretty soon, and we'll put it out there. But can you give us a, like when is it? How long do you think it's going to be, and so forth?
Yeah, so next week we'll be hosting it on Wednesday. I think it's August 19th. It is a Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. The webinar is about half an hour to an hour long, and there's a set of prepared questions, and then there'll be a spot for Q&A. But I think it's meant to be a dialogue, so if people have questions within, I think you shouldn't hesitate to ask them, because you will have two industry professional that will be talking about ETFs, the markets, how they work, the mechanics, and then you get some insight into maybe if this is like a career that you'd want to pursue or get into. So yeah, next week at 2 p.m. Wednesday, be there, be square.
All right. Well, one thing that I do want to mention is that we do have sponsors for our upcoming webinar series, and one of them is Pinsera Securities. We're actually going to end up with, I think, two different sessions featuring folks from Pinsera. And then one of my favorites is Kingsford Capital Management, who they are a short only hedge fund out here in California. So I really am looking forward to the inaugural one. And Jairo, I'm really happy that you volunteered to go first, and that we will have a very good seminar series. And then I want to let everybody know too that um, they're all being recorded, and we will have them on our not Instagram, YouTube. I had to think about that for a second. They'll be on YouTube, but we'll have the links for everybody. So with that, Jairo, we will see you next week. And just want to say goodbye to everybody. And you got any last words?
No, I think you wrapped it up really well. So thanks again. I'm looking forward to next week.
All right.